welcome back. It is your boy Jacko here, and we're here in Cardiff for another Thursday night fight night. Personnel change this week. I am joined by the godfather of FFTCG here in Cardiff, the great Paul McAvoy. Paul, welcome.
I'm really excited about this one. This is the Opus 19 finale.
It is.
There's no more after this. This is the final of the format.
Yeah.
So, I think everyone's getting into high gear for
last roll of the dice. I think there's other tournaments still to come, so we'll see what people play.
And I think we're going to have a really exciting first round here.
Yeah, I think we are indeed.
So let's go over to the camera and have a look.
Alrighty, so I've given Gareth a thumbs up and we are away. So we've got Kitty on the left and Mason on the right. Mason looks like he's on his usual shenanigans of Earth, Lightning, and looks like Kitty also running his usual suspects of the Cat6 Fire Ice.
Ooh.
So pretty standard opening from Mason there, just getting the backup Cryle down, getting a summon back from Break Zone. Let's see what Kitty's got. I think he's got the Empire Sid potentially in hand. Okay, so he's going... Okay, double backup and pass. Nice and clean.
Not a conventional take, I'd say, on the Cryle for like an Earth Lightning thing usually.
Yeah, not many lists play actually. That's a fair point. Have you been playing this in your Earth Lightning or?
It's not a single time. Backup space is so tight that you can't fit something that's not searchable or can be searched by something else.
I'm surprised this card will continue to see play. I think it saw a lot of play, particularly in the Earth-Water lists, because as a Cat 5 target, you could search it off Sildra. Not anymore. Now that card is gone. So nice for Mason here, getting his colour fixing by playing the Iridia into the Seymour backup. So he's going to be able to get a summon on top of his deck. Kitty's got the Interceptor down, but he's probably not going to be hasting something in. So you can probably get away with putting something you want to draw as opposed to an EX burst on top. But it does then give Kitty the window that if he wants to, if you put something that you want on there, he can actually intercept you and give something haste and hit it in the damage zone. So a bit of a head scratcher from Mason here as to what to grab.
Well, really interesting take just saw from the summons there. He's got Exodus.
Yeah, I saw that. Exodus the Judge saw. This is the one that you and your opponent both name a number.
And break all ones.
And break all fours.
I did play it at the end of the last format, and I'm a big fan of the card. However, with just how it's gone for a lot of matchups with this as well, you find that a lot of the time it's not going to do anything against Soiree.
Yeah. And also, I feel like conventional, you don't really see conventional Soiree so much anymore. A lot of the lists move into this more multicoloured, just good stuff decks.
So it might be a good pick for the end of the format sort of thing. Yeah. But it's a nice ramp, but already on 3.
Yeah, he's put the Ixon on top. Ixon isn't necessarily the best card in this matchup. I think you're mainly using it to break the 3 CPs as well. I think in James's current list, if I remember correctly, the only real 2 CPs running is Umaru. Access to Judge Saul, also not the best card in this matchup. Cat 6 playing lots of different costeds. You know, your 4 CP, 5 CP, and 3 CP being your main ones in your Edgar, Locke, Sabin. Okay, so yeah, James is happy for him to have the Ixion, knowing that it's not necessarily the best card in this matchup.
From what the deck will become in Opus 20, Ixion is 100% a pick against
different
this.
Story. Having a think here, he's probably not got Lock in hand, so he's toying up whether he grabs the Celeste, knowing he can curve into Lock, or whether he grabs the Sabin now. I think if you're Kitty, I think you got to grab the Sabin now because you know you're playing against Earth and you know Mason's probably going to have a Mist Dragon at some point. Okay, so he's gone for the Celeste then. That surprises me a bit because he's got Crystalline Empire Sid in hand. So if I was him, I probably would have grabbed the Sabin and then you could have curved 3 backups onto Empire Sid and searched the Lock then.
Going for Warlock though, straight into Mannequin backups. It's a hell of a nice curve to get straight up. And he passes there as well.
Yeah, really, and played the Vanille, so really clean turns there.
So this is really going to make him pay for these extra effects then.
Yeah, Kitty's got to find an answer for this Vanille. This card is so damaging if you leave it on the board too long. It just constantly taxes.
And takes all the value that obviously FF6 would draw off of the log and everything like that just completely away from it.
So he's probably, and now he has to think about mapping his turns really carefully, in that he's got to leave himself extra 2 CP to try and handle this Vanille. I can't see it. I think he may have drawn an Edgar, which if he has, that's probably the best answer, because you can quite happily pay the extra 2 on the Vanille, get the Sabin back, and then you can just Sabin S to free kill the Vanille.
Usually it wouldn't be a problem. For a traditional Fire Ice deck, this would be a Brynhilda and gone. But this is just there's no summons into this.
Yeah.
Entirely characters and entirely FF6 to bank on lock, just drawing cards.
Yeah, and I think James runs a bit of a tricky situation now, because if he wants to deal with this Vanille, his only real answers outside of backup Terror is in the form of 4s he plays. But if he goes too wide, Mason has actually, and we know he's got the Shantoto in hand. But even if you're James, if you don't know it, you've got to just assume that he has the Shantoto in hand or coming. But this is the issue I've had with this Cat 6 deck, is it's very all in.
Okay. Straight into Sabin.
So he looks like he's just going to S effect before Vanille can get a chance to do any sort of taxing. So TCB, we'll probably see Celeste come down, search lock, I imagine. He's having a bit of a think.
I think as well with the fact
I think
that
you played the Empire Sid here instead, because you can curve. Yeah.
you have to, because being on 4 backups, this means that Mason is so far ahead already.
Yeah. And if you do get the Celeste, you're kind of walking into the Shantoto.
Forcing James to have to play this slowly might actually be a backbreaking entirely.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Still early days. I think pretty evens, honours even so far in this.
Everything in this is just giving Mason extra time to get his Chaos and Arcs together, though.
Yeah, I think that's... So it looks like... Okay, interesting. So James is actually playing the water Cat 6 cards in this. So
okay.
we've spoken about this a couple of times. I'm still on the fence about it. I understand that it can offer quite a lot to the deck, and the value you can get out of playing Astrago when you've got a lock on board is huge. My issue is at the moment, with no good Cat 6 playable water backups, you're fully confined to being able to only be able to play those cards from hand by discarding other Cat 6 from hand. Not necessarily such an issue if you've got your lock online and you're drawing all your deck, but if you haven't got your lock online, or it gets killed, that ends up being a lot of dead cards in your hand.
This problem's going away entirely, though, when Strago is basically going to be called Lock next set.
Well, yeah, exactly. Although I think there are still some people saying that you could run the Cat 6 engine, because you've got the likes of the new card like the Fiend.
The Friend.
The Friend. Cat 6 Friend! Yeah. So it looks like a draw and pass from Mason. Obviously, I think he's not got any good answers. The problem is he can't play the backup he searched, because he needs to leave room for Shantoto to come down. I wonder if it's because he's got Sonon in hand, so I wonder if he's just having that up his sleeve should James try and do something with this.
I think it's a smart move. It's one that I've made myself quite a few times. Make it seem like you've got nothing, and then show that you've actually got everything.
Yeah. Because he had the Man in Black, but did choose not to play it. Probably because he didn't want to. He wanted to try and see if he get the kill on the Sabin, which I think is sensible. But you run the risk that if James just happens to have another copy of Sabin, which, again, you've kind of sometimes got to assume in this matchup, because they play such a high density of Sabin cards. So he's thinking long and hard.
I think he's really trying to put off playing the Edgar as well, which I'm not sure is a great thing, because at this stage it's only going to make Miss Dragon worse and worse.
I don't think he's got it. I think he's got Lock, Celeste, Mog 6. I think that's a Vargas, and then
that
Gao.
is a Vargas, yeah.
And Gao, so he hasn't got the Edgar yet. I think he's probably thinking about maybe doing Lock into free cast Mog, and just trying to get some value. And then you can give haste to one of them as well. So he's going to get the value, so he's going to flip and draw.
Go.
And then, give it haste. So in danger of walking into this sonar now. But the question is, if you're Mason, what would you rather kill, the Sabin or the Lock?
Sabin.
Yeah.
It's because of the activate. It's because of the damage. Lock's gonna draw cards, but he's not gonna do anything else. Of course, the Celesta.
Okay, he's gone for Celeste to search Lock. I can. Okay, this is a bit too risky for me, because you're now just asking to be Shantoto'd. Because I think it would have been a different story if he had played a Cat 6 fire character, because he could have then given that character haste, because at the moment only Sabin can attack.
Yeah.
And so you could have got a party attack trigger on Celeste, but he's not going to be able to get a party attack trigger because only Sabin can attack this turn, and everything else is ice, so can't party. Haven't got that new set yet. Maybe he's thinking ahead. he's
Doesn't seem there's the Shantoto in hand though.
I think Mason has got it. I think I saw it earlier. Either way,
just trying to get the damage in now.
Right, how is
Cisne?
Am I missing something? How is he party attacked with the Sabin?
Oh,
Celeste?
that's because he left the interceptor up.
Yeah, but how do they party? They're different elements. Am I missing something there? Because he grabbed us up. I'm just going to check that.
Yeah, come on, let's have a look. It looks like there's actually a mistake there, so that damage probably shouldn't have been taken. I think that's James with one too many beers in.
Yeah, he says exactly that. He says, "Tell Stream I'm drunk." We all know he plays his best cards when he's drunk. And then here's the Shantoto. Yeah.
And there it is, yeah. Hate to see it, but...
Yeah, but we kind of knew it was coming. As I said, I think you've got to expect that if you're playing an Earth player, you've got to expect. And this is why I have had issues with this Cat 6 deck. Is that it's all in really. You play backups, so once you've run out of backups to play, all you can do is play forwards.
Yeah.
And so sometimes...
I hope that you don't draw more backups.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes you're playing against decks that have loads of board wipes, and you have no choice but to walk into it without... Otherwise, you're just sat on your hands, drawing cards, not really doing anything proactive.
That's Jacob in chat saying hi, so...
Mate, thanks for joining. Mate, is this 2 weeks in a row you haven't been here?
Part-timer, isn't he?
Absolute part-timer.
There's Vanille, yeah, so pay for those lock draws, please.
Punishing by Mason. Another 4 CP, Galuf, yeah.
Absolute. So this is one that just nobody was excited about at all when Galuf got spoiled, and he's just incredible. Powerhouse.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those cards that has played way better than anyone thought. It's going to be really hard for James to deal with it because 8k really is the number that he tries to hit for, so it just takes one buff to get Galuf out of range, and then you're having to double down and double target Galuf, and then you're just wasting all that removal on just a single card. But if you don't remove it, he's just going to keep picking apart your board for free.
Hey, Fallon in chat as well.
Hopefully see you boys on Saturday.
Yeah.
Pre-release. So... Okay, James is still reeling a bit. I can see it in his eyes. He's annoyed at himself that he's done that. he's trying
to joke his way through, but he doesn't mean it.
He's trying to justify that he's already thinking ahead to the new sets.
Whatever it takes.
But absolutely not. So finally got Edgar coming down. You've got to grab the Sabin.
Vanille triggers there as well. So is this going to be the one that he says pay for it with?
Well, he hasn't yet tried to trigger Vanille. I wonder if he's leaving it just in case.
I think you try to use Vanille at the earliest possible time, ideally.
Yeah. Because you might not even get a window to do the Vanille now. Because if you're James, Okay, so he is doing Vanille. Vanille is auto abilities, am I right?
Auto abilities only, yeah. So
he's waited until, it's a bit of a technicality, but I think he's waited until, he's done it in response to Sabin entering, which he can't. Oh, I guess he's done it into the lock trigger on the Sabin entering. Okay, fine. So.
But so many cards in his hand that if anything doesn't like,
it's irrelevant. He could do it at any point in. There's he's got 3 or 4 windows he could do it in, and then nice drawing a Sabin there for James. So now he's got the fuel that he can deal with the Galuf if need be. But part of me would be thinking actually, you just maybe try and kill the Vanille this turn on the free Sabin trigger.
I think a lot of that early lead that Mason managed to pick up on this is just. It seems to be getting away from him a little bit more, so I'm not sure how many tricks he'll still have.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Go-Go here. Yeah, we're going to see Go-Go, so now we're going to get double Sabin. He's got 2 Sabin in hand, and he's now got 2 Sabin triggers on board, so we can now shoot the Vanille, and then shoot the Galuf, let Mason remove 3, and then on the start, so Mason's just going to take it, which I think you have to do because you know he's got the Sabin in hand. Wait, did he only do 1 Sabin trigger? Unless he double shot Galuf, but he wouldn't have needed to. Because
well, I think he probably did, just in case he didn't. But
you do it in response to him removing 3. Really.
Yeah.
And I think you at least killed the Vanille with one of your shots.
Let's just put this up to maybe James has a grandmaster plan that we are.
Yeah, and definitely not the fact that he's absolutely drunk.
This is 5D chess.
Yeah, absolutely 5D chess. I'm just a pawn to the James Kiddie chessboard.
It's a man in black here. I think maybe the Hecaton chair is it's probably in a bad space for this one.
Yeah, because you can just Sabin buff and it only kills the Sabin then.
Well, I was talking about the backup one as well, because giving him room to play more backups, more copies of Sid, more sets is just, that's more cards being drawn. No,
100% I think the Sabin the Ramuh is the right choice. The question now is, do you try and proactively Ramuh to make him waste Sabins in hand to protect things like Edgar?
I think you can.
Because if you wait and do it on his turn, he then gets the free uses of Sabin through Edgar and Go-Go. So we've got an XIII in hand, which again is a really nice card for this matchup. If Mason can find a way to pick apart this board and follow up with an XIII, it'll put him so far ahead, because you're going to get to the count pretty easily because you'll be removing everything that James has in his break zone. Looks like he's trying to do some maths and numbers aren't in his favour.
So he's just saying that he knows he's got at least that one in hand, which was the lock draw last turn.
So we've got 12 minutes on the round and we're only at 1 damage to 0.
It's going to be...
So we could be... Strap yourselves in. We could be going the distance on this one. Looking at our numbers, I think we're probably somewhere around the 20 players mark as well, I think, for this evening. Having a quick look at the board. So again, another good turnout for this week. What is the final week of the Opus? Yeah, so he's trying to do the Ramuh now. He's going to make him do the Sabin S to buff everything by 2k. So, yeah, I think Mason thinking he's made a mistake there, because I think he maybe forgot that the Sabin could do the buff 2k. People often forget about the chakra effect. People just assume that all Sabin can do is ping for 8ks. So he's now thinking long and hard about what he does. He's got an attack with the Man in Black should he want to, but then actually the Man in Black came out this turn, so you can't even make use of the fact that he's done a... Yeah, and he's now had to remove backups to do Sonon.
Although Mason does play a unusually high backup count in this, so he will draw into more.
What's more surprising is why he hasn't got rid of his Shantoto. Because surely that's the card that you want to be playing again later as another board wipe.
Maybe he'll use the drunk excuse as well.
Maybe he's getting put off by James's plays.
Oh, like a drunken master style.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. It's got me sat here maybe thinking maybe I'm the bad player. Maybe I would be the one making all the wrong plays and I just getting my ass handed to me. Maybe that's why I'm now cursed to be a commentator.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
Not good enough to play anymore.
You're the Gary Lineker of FFTCG.
Yeah. And if I'll tell you what, in Gary Lineker style, if Kitty wins Euros, I'll do a stream in just my boxes. Actually, no. Maybe if he wins Worlds. It's got to be as unrealistic as Leicester winning the title. So there you go, Kitty. If you win Worlds, I will do a stream in just my boxes.
No, we'll do it. We'll do damage strips.
Strip damage, but you only have to wear 6 items of clothes.
Yeah.
And that was a story about how we got kicked out.
Yeah. And damage 7 is a full spread.
Yeah. Me phoning my mum how I got done for public indecency.
Man, we'll do anything for content.
When
a game is going this long.
Yeah. And we're at 2 damage. Oh, we're actually at 2 damage to nil.
Oh.
Sorry, we've had action. We have had action. I can hear the cogs whirring from here in their 2 brains. So, Mason has committed hard to killing this Edgar, which I don't necessarily think I would have done. I think I would have committed harder to get rid of the Sabin, because the Sabin is the piece that does all the damage.
I think
if you do Edgar, he still gets value back from Edgar, and we've already seen one Sabin removed from game with Shantoto, so I would have worked harder to try and kill the Sabin rather than the Edgar.
I think more than anything what it says is that he wants to going 3 backups and 3 forwards now into this turn is not too bad, but I think by killing the Edgar he wants to make sure that Sabin has a harder time entirely by discarding it, so that he can play XF to get rid of all the targets now, which I think is a smart move.
So we've got the Chaos locked and loaded. We just need to wait to draw into the Arc. Unfortunately, we haven't seen one yet this game, so we can't remove one with Man in Black.
Even if he were to play it now for the 7, I suppose it would be. That's a hard one for James. What does he give up? It's probably got to be the Go-Go, isn't it? So
yeah, and I think this is smart for Mason, because the longer the game goes on, the more value Mason is going to generate. I think with him playing cards like X-Death, Chaos Arc, I appreciate James gets a lot of value out of his lock.
Oh, so that was the discard for the activation, right? Okay.
Yeah, so he's now chakra to activate everything, hoping to use something probably in the block on Man in Black. So Mason's now probably thinking, okay, I've got to Q-Sith now to protect my Man in Black, but it has to choose the lock because that's the only thing bigger than the Man in Black. But it will be a trade with the Go-Go, because the Go-Go will be 9k, and yeah, getting the Galif is smart because it's going to be buffed at 11k.
Ooh, there we go.
He's doing the Go-Go Mimic special to Chakra again. So this is the Go-Go tap S effect that lets it copy an S effect that's been done this turn. So he's double Chakra with the Go-Go. That was a nice play from Kitty. Oh, I love that. I don't think I've ever seen someone get Mimic off before. Okay. Edgar's damage. That was a good thing to hit for Mason.
As James would say, good mills.
Good mills. He's thinking about playing the...
He's going to have to play the XF this turn, I think.
Touch.
Oh,
so
the Matoya.
He's just Matoyering.
Well, there's your answer why he didn't get rid of the Shantota.
Yeah, he had an answer, and Kitty just dead draw for Kitty. He drew double Setzer, which he would much rather have seen on hit damage, especially with a Setzer already on board. I think he has got to play. I think it's it's a lock, so get a discard in. Mason's only got one card left in hand.
Oh.
Get rid of that chaos. Yeah.
So that's Exodus and Mist Dragon in the draws as well. So not amazing. So it looks like this is fairly non-turns for everybody here.
Yeah, and it's just going to pass. I think you kind of see what happens here. Looks like we're probably going to see Celeste. I think he's drawn a Celeste. I think we'll probably see Celeste come down here and potentially give Celeste haste with the Interceptor. Probably going to come down and do a discard. So he's just
wow, I'm really surprised he wouldn't have cast that.
Well, I think the Mist Dragon he's probably more scared of an Edgar coming down. So he's going to do a party attack, and then now he's going to he knows the party attack's coming in. So he wanted to keep the Mist. He had to discard.
Well, had he said, because he'd already done the Interceptor, had he cast the Exodus and said, well, I suppose he hadn't done it yet, but had he cast the Interceptor and said 3,
yeah, I guess
then there wouldn't have been a party attack.
Yeah, this is true. Top deck's the Man in Black, so he's going to tuck away another Q-Sith, I imagine.
Yeah.
But he's not going to be able to cast it. And party attacks coming in now are going to be getting freezes on those backups. So I think I prefer James's position right now. I know I said the longer the game went on, the stronger Mason would be, but actually this 3CP lock is still really good.
We're at the last 4 minutes here.
So I actually would be surprised if we now go to time, because I think James has got a whiff of blood. Mason is in top deck mode. He's got no cards in hand, and he's going to be keeping things down.
Oh, there's the Arc as well.
Yeah, which, to be honest, if you're Mason, you probably would have quite liked to have drawn it and then been made to discard it, so that it's loaded in the break zone, so your Man in Black can remove it to draw a Chaos, which he would have done. But
Chaos with the Arc in the same place of the deck, stacked.
Mason, you've been rumbled.
This boy needs to learn how to shuffle his deck.
So I imagine do we get a Man in Black attack? I feel like what Mason can do now is he can do a Q-Sith Sonon. It's his probably best answer to anything James might throw at him. And he can say one thing can't attack with the Q-Sith. But he's probably just doing the mass now, so yeah, working out what he needs to be doing. So he's going to attack with the Man in Black, he's going to remove something else. Removing the Ramu.
Yeah, not a bad shout.
That'd be a nice card to use next turn, especially with no Sabins on board.
And that's the game.
That is
we've got the handshake.
Yeah. He drew the General Leo, plays General Leo. Mason now can't cast the Ramu that he's tucked away, and that will end the game. Weird one, that. I'm not going to lie.
I don't think we expected any of those turns to go how they should have gone. But
yeah, I'm actually looking forward to picking James's brain about this.
Oh, yeah, well, this will be a treat for everybody.
That could be a regret.
Yeah, right, so we'll be back in a bit.
Cool, catch you soon. Alrighty guys, we're back. My boy James. Interesting game, that.
I can only apologise to people at home for what they've just witnessed. It's the end of the year. For those working in education, we had a staff party, and I've just come from the pub. So I'm aware there are a few misplays there, but we work with what we got.
I know, we were saying you play your best games when you're drunk, right?
Hungover, not drunk.
Hungover.
There you go, we got to process it out the system first.
Yeah, I think getting a bit ahead of yourself, thinking your Setzer is the new Setzer, so you can party attack with everything.
How amazing would that be, though, if you could play the old Setzer and the new one at the same time?
That'd be busted.
We obviously covered the Cat 6 stuff when we were looking at the pre-release, and that set, I can't wait for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick. We won't talk too much about it because check out our other video to see what we said. But how have you found the water side of things with this current build, the one from this set?
So in this set, I'm going to talk a little bit about Strago.
Okay, yeah.
Because that card read a lot better than when I first gave it credence.
Yep.
So when you're playing Cat 6 Fire Ice, you're already playing water because Mod 6 is water.
Yeah,
So you've already got the CP available to you, and Gal's there in the background, but Gal's like your little
nice little party trick. Yeah.
But Strago says on entry and leaving the field or goes to break zone. I can't remember the exact wording, but it's on entry.
I think it's break zone, but still, it's value.
Yeah, you get value of not just the entry, but the exit as well.
Yeah.
And with the lock, that means you're drawing 2 cards just off playing a 3 CP forward, and the S is actually not that irrelevant.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point.
2k for every point of damage, so you want to be on damage 3 because damage 3 is the threshold. So 6 to 8k, it's pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's decent. And talk me through the Go-Go S effect. I don't think I've ever seen anyone get Mimic off before. Is that the first time you've done it, or you've done it Mimic before?
I've done it a couple times, but that was because I was staring at the
said it
hands.
rattled Mason. Mason was like, sorry, what?
Oh, no, because I completely bricked, and I drew Lock and Sabin and the Go-Go, and I'm like, well, I've already got these 4s on board, what am I going to do? But I knew that Go-Go did have the S effect where it can copy a secret S effect.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm thinking I could Aura Cannon 660 Aura Cannon again. But that didn't feel terribly efficient, especially because I knew he'd been holding that Hecatontra in his hand the entire game.
Yeah.
I'm like, right, that's in the back of my head. I know Sabin's dead, so how can I maximise the value out of that? So, all right, I've just drawn a Go-Go. That is another 2k buff. Not to mention the man in black's there. He's obviously going to be staring at that lock.
And also he knows, that he has to be attacking with the man in black for him to be getting the value out of that man in black, because I think he'd already had to cast something, so he had nothing tucked under the man in black at that time. So he had to attack and do the Kusith, and then when you do the first chakra, he has to then cast the Kusith to save it from the lock, and you're like, okay, chakra again. And then,
that was just a case of perfect time because it had to be done in that certain way. You had to give him the chance to let his effect resolve, so the man in black said lock can't block. Okay, that's locked in the bank, here we go again. Now suddenly Go-Go is an 11k stick standing there.
And a card that we've both liked, but you especially have been a big advocate of it, and it showed its worth today, was the old Opus 4 3CP lock. Really nice, coming down, getting the discard. Mason had to answer, blew everything up with Matoya, and had 1 card left in hand, and just being able to go bang, lock, discard.
Not just any card, it was a chaos. And it was the chaos that he was desperately trying to search for that entire game, and as soon as
We're saying he stacked his deck because it was chaos, and the next card that you flipped over was Arc. So he'd stacked his deck so he had chaos.
Mate.
So you rumbled him. You rumbled him for trying to stack his deck. So
we play through the misplays, we keep going. The deck is able to. You've experienced it before. How quickly it can just rebuild its board. Block is such an insane
and we
card.
spoke about it a bit on stream because part of the issue I've had with the deck is it is a bit one-dimensional, that you play your backups, then you kind of have to play your forwards. But once you play, there's no in between. If you're playing a deck like Mason's that you know has board wipes, sometimes you feel yourself you have to just play into it. But that's when the value of lock just being so efficient and drawing everything back that fine, if they board wipe you, whatever, I'm going to build it back up again super quick. So
there was a couple of moments in that game where I find myself playing suboptimally because it's a Mist Dragon matchup, and that card ruins this deck in the Edgar sense.
Absolutely. Cool. Right, well, nice to put your brains on it. Good luck with the rest of your rounds, mate. And
have a good one.
Maybe we'll see you later for the finals. Let's see. But we were going to be right back for round 2 shortly.
Have a good one, guys.
Catch you soon. And just like that, we are back with round 2. Paul, talk to us. What can we expect from round 2?
We have Jack with Fire Lightning 13, and we have Finley with Ninjas again. So this would be, I think, really interesting because I watched Finley's game last week and I was really interested. Obviously, Jen completely put Finley down. People's champ, of
not
course.
Seeing the edge, I think, was the key thing. So let's see if Finley can see it this time round.
And is that Zidane? Interesting.
So I think this was Dan Preston's brainchild, wasn't it? Playing Reeve and then playing that Zidane, and also playing off Phoenix.
That's massively. Yeah, I think anything that you can only play via Phoenix is probably a little bit above my pain threshold.
I was worried for a sec. Finley was playing too many wind staples, but no, we have got lightning cards in there. So interesting that Jack's playing the Aranea in his Cat 13 deck. So
I think actually this is based on a list that I'd made a while back.
is it?
So
Let's see how it goes then. So he's got the Zaz.
excellent card, I think, overall.
See, I really like this Y'shtola. I don't like seeing that going in the bin.
And I really do not like that Y'shtola, so
Really?
I'm happy to see that go in the bin. Yeah, not one that I've liked at all, because it's usually one of those cards that as soon as you take the damage, you just kill it on the stack.
I only like it in this deck. Like, I think it's really good in the Cat 13 deck. Outside of that, yeah, I agree. I don't think it sees play, but I think it is a. So.
Oh, Reeve. I think that's
Reeve
straight up
into
for Null.
He had the Zidane as well, so he could have gone Reeve. Oh no, he mulliganed out of the Zidane.
That's the Reeve there that plays the 2CP forward from the break zone.
Yeah, he's got lightning in hand, so I'm surprised we didn't just play the lightning as well, because we'd have got a draw. Oh baby, EX burst, Mana.
I think he's trying to be just too careful. I think maybe.
Yeah.
But,
Wow.
but there's not really any reason to keep lightning in hand at any time.
Tell you what you're doing, man. You had the perfect chance to search your edge, and you've chosen not to. You've gone for the Yuffie.
Not again.
It's because he's got a 5 CP Yuffie in hand. So he's prepping to do a Doom of the Living.
Interesting that he went for the EX burst dodge and not the can't be targeted one, because that's the bane of something like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe, but Jack is one of our newer players. He probably hasn't come across this deck. Probably definitely hasn't come across the edge before. So
The only way you learn here is by pain.
Yeah.
And there's Yuffie, of course. So
Yuffie gonna come in and get the effects to reactivate. Lumina hitting the damage zone. And then turn getting passed over. So
Noel's not going to be able to get him down now as well. It'll be 10k till the end of this turn. So
yeah, and you can Doom of the Living here now, but it's going to cost Finley his hand. But if Jack splurges and goes all in on his Cat 13s, then you don't mind, because
it's not too bad. We have Spectral Keeper.
Spectral Keeper.
The other Keeper.
We've got the lightning, we've got the dodge.
That is Hope there, and Vanille.
So we've got all the cards we want. So he's probably going to go into the Hope. I imagine search maybe the Fang.
You can play it.
Maybe another copy of Vanille. No, he's probably going to discard one copy to play Lightning.
Getting a good look at his deck here as well. So
I mean, he's gone through the whole deck. He's going to run out of cards to make. Thinking about the Sid Hayes. Maybe he's just thinking about CP. Just thinking about something. No, he's going to go for the Fang. So let's see. I think he's got to be cautious now if you're Jack, because you know that Finley has Doom of the Living in hand. So do you wait a turn and try and get the Fang down? Because you can't get Fang and Lightning down this turn. So, okay, he's just going to Doom of the Living now. So, which is just going to kill.
Using 2 Yuffies to do it as well.
Yeah.
If he gets the job done, I suppose he gets the job done.
Doesn't matter if you draw another copy of Yuffie. He's just drawn another copy of Yuffie and also the win CP to pay for Doom of the Living again, should he need it. Filthy draws. Godot hitting damage. Not going to do a lot right now. That would have been a nice draw though for Jack, because he could have gone Godot into Fang and then 1 CP play Lightning. Alas, not. So he's got Bahamut, which
that's pretty good.
Could be the answer he needs for Yuffie, but the issue is that he needs to go for the Vanille. He needs to get himself down to enough Cat 13 characters to reduce his cost. Otherwise, he's paying 5 CP for it, which is equal trading with the Yuffie.
So get the Bahamut there.
You worry for Jack if he gets lured into a false sense of security, seeing 2 Yuffies go already, thinking, okay, what are the odds of him drawing another Yuffie? Turns out pretty high, because Philly did exactly that. So he's going in for it. So Fang coming down. It's not got the buff yet, because he needs one more Cat 13 card, but what he can do is he can reduce the cost, which is irrelevant because he has Bahamut and Lightning in hand, so he's going to reduce the cost. Yeah, so just going to Chocolate, so it looks like we have had a pass of the turn. Okay, so nice draw there from Finney. He's got himself a mana, so now he can use that mana to either search another copy of Yuffie, or he can now search the edge knowing you've got one copy of Yuffie in hand. I think knowing the matchup, I think you just grab as many Yuffies as you can and you just keep board wiping them over and over again until they can't do it anymore.
That lightning's still in his hand there as well. Yeah. He can't cast the Bahamut. He may even not have any other copies of Yuffie left. This must be. I think this might be his last copy of Yuffie. So he's going to swing with the Yuffie and get the reactivation. Damage is going to be Sid of Clan Gully, EX Burst, grab me a lightning character. It's not bad at all.
It's pretty handy right now, especially as we seem pretty short on
But it's
cards.
fairly elementary when you know that the Yuffie special is just going to wipe the board regardless.
True, but Hope is really nice here because you can play the Hope for 2 CP, which will essentially be a 0 CP Hope, because you're going to search a card off it, and then Doom of the Living. Everything's going to get the 2k buff. So then Doom of the Living would not kill all 3 things. If you played down Hope and Lightning this turn, Yuffie can only kill 2 things. Unless it does... Oh no, if it did 7k to Fang, and then it could kill 3 things. You can do 7k Fang, 7k Vanille, 7k Lightning, and you'll kill all 3, because it's 24k, isn't it? So ignore me, chat. Finley's got this in the bag.
Yeah, I think this is just biding time at this point, isn't it?
So here comes Doom of the Living again, wiping the board. So Doom of the Living counts at 2 now. Third Doom of the Living inbound.
I don't believe he's been activating his Reeve after the Null's been done.
He has. Because he paid 3 CP for the... Last turn he paid 3 CP for the...
Oh, sure,
using the Reeve. I think this turn maybe he didn't.
Damn. Finley drawing Azura, so now he's got even more Doom of the Livings available to him. He can just poke you to death with his Yuffie, get the draw, attack with the Yuffie.
And it goes to show as well that Cat 13 isn't the unbeatable aggro machine that some people seem to think it is.
No, and I think a lot of people cottoned onto this quite early, that Yuffie is actually such an amazing answer. I know a lot of Wind and Wind Eyes players were running this card at the very start of the meta when they were worried about Cat 13, because it is a really good answer to Cat 13, as Finley is quite aptly showing. So 3 CP, Limina, let's see what we can search. It's going to get the Vanille. A little bit of me is inclined to think that Jack should just pass turn here with 5 cards in hand.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
He
There's nothing you can block, so don't even try.
Yeah.
It does have the...
It's got Odin.
Yeah.
It's any damage 4, so Odin isn't going to be reduced yet.
And you can't do it on the attack, of course, because there's nothing that can hit.
So he's passing turn, I think, and Finley at the end of turn is going to Azura and get back a copy of Yuffie. So he's got it locked and loaded for later.
There's Chocobo as well to make sure that the Odin's not going to hit.
So yeah, nice. So Finley in a really good spot now. He's got 2 copies of Yuffie in hand. He's got protection on the Yuffie in the form of Chocobo. He's going to be putting the Althea down and reactivating the Chocolate. If I'm honest, I actually don't think that was necessary. I think it would have just... You're ahead on backups anyway. He's just hard casting the Odin... Wait, is he paid 4 CP for Odin? His backups were tapped, right? His backups were tapped, and he couldn't have paid 3 cards for Odin, because he would have had 6 cards in hand, so he couldn't have passed turn. So how's he got 3 cards in hand?
I'm going to go scoot
Actually,
over.
good check.
It's very quick, yeah. So it does seem to be an issue with how this was paid for then. So looks like we might actually have to pay for the extra couple of cards there to make it happen. Trying to reverse the game here. Sorry about this. I think it's easily done when it's on stream, but it's hard to keep your nerves sometimes, and you make stupid misplays. Happened to me as well, the Materia Cup, so easily done. Okay, he's on his way back. Did you manage to sort out the card that Chocobo drew?
Did he draw a card? He said he hadn't drawn a card yet.
I didn't catch it myself, but
Yeah, he seemed to think that he hadn't drawn the card off Chocobo yet.
right. If that is the case, it's no problem.
Which I think the maths would have added up, to be honest.
Oh, that's the Vanilla EX. And now we can cast the...
Yeah. We'll be able to tell fully on the rewind, but I guess I think if he had 5 cards in hand, he'd have drawn 2 for turn, he would have played Althea, and then he would have had 6 cards in hand, which is what he did have at that point when I went over the table. I think because I was looking at Jack's side of the board, I didn't see if he drew off the Chocobo, but he seemed to think they hadn't, so...
Easy mistakes regardless. And
Yeah,
say,
so I
when
think
you're on the stream table, I was
exactly.
saying then that nerves can get down to you so quickly, so
Yeah.
easily.
Jack essentially thought that Odin was damage 3 reduction of power, the reduction of
Oh,
cost.
do you imagine?
Busted.
I'd actually like that card if that was the case.
So let's
Lots of cards.
Yeah,
Not sure we can do anything with them.
Because the thing is, you just have to if you play forwards, you're just gonna get Doom of the Living again. So you got to try and play your most efficient cards you can. So maybe like a Vanille Fang Hope Lightning turn or something, and just. But even then, you can do it efficiently because you can reduce costs and yada yada yada. But at the end of the day, your opponent is still going to do the living, wipe most of your board, and have 3 more backups than you. I think it's a really tough spot right now for Jack. Yeah, so he's just going for the straight reduce cost on the lightning.
Have to do it.
Yep. And I think we're about to say bye-bye to this board. It's still got a lot of cards in hand, 4 cards in hand, but...
I think it might be worth... Because you've got the reduction, it's probably worth playing the Hope as well at this point, isn't it?
No, I think you accept the Doom of the Living, and then next turn, now that you are at damage 5, now you can Odin the Yuffie. But the problem is, by waiting that turn, Finley will have an online Althea.
Yeah, that's a really good point there. Not for much longer, mind.
Not for much longer.
We were going to try the bans ahead of time tonight, but we've only just found out that for London, even though it happens the day after the bans, it's very likely that the format will remain.
I mean, we can talk about that if you want. I actually I could play devil's advocate because I can see why they haven't enforced the bans. And I think essentially it's an admin error that's basically fallen off the back of the changing date of London, because initially London was supposed to be at a different date.
I believe
it was supposed to be the same time as
Glasgow.
the Glasgow one, and so yeah. So as we predicted, Jack's gone for the Odin on the Yuffie, and Finley is just out the edge. So yeah, you can see why it was a bit of a nothing scenario that should never have happened.
K. Special K himself. Not a card I expected to see at all.
So yeah, you've now got to deal with this if you're Jack. I mean, Jack's got a reasonable answer to it in Bahamut, but it's just going to cost him most of his hand.
Just pay for it, Jack.
Yeah, you'd be dead otherwise. You are literally dead if you don't kill it now.
I think when it comes to the whole ban thing, though, I think the problem is that a lot of people like myself had and everything was just, if you say a date, mean the date.
Yeah,
but if you mean August 11th, which is 2 weeks after the set legality, that's what you should mean.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and I think that's just the confusion, because the reason why you set the date for the date of release of the new set is basically setting the understanding that you're banning the cards because of the new set and not because of the current set. Because of new cards coming, you don't like the fact that these cards exist. Otherwise, if you wanted to be banned, you could ban it like effective immediately, right? If you really thought a card was that busted.
he's not doing it.
So
Getting a fire card back here. Not sure it's going to do much good, mind. I think what Jack's really trying to do with this, more than anything, is experiment. And doesn't matter if he does it, what will this turn go like? Because he's really trying to get used to this deck, and he's trying to... And that's not a terrible thing to do sometimes. Just make sure that you get your plays going a certain way so that you can definitely check to see if, how exactly things are going to go. But that is this game is over.
yeah.
Nice to see that the Ninja deck actually working this time.
Yeah, playing still Finley. He's now played 2 games on stream and still yet to see an Edge.
Yeah.
Still not seen Edge.
I put Edge in the thumbnail last week as well.
He assured me he played that card. So, yep.
And
Double
that's
damage.
it. Yeah.
And yeah, Jack realising that is the end of the game. So, yeah, Yuffie showing her power in that game. Doom of the Living, I think the Doom of the Living count was like 4 or something ludicrous like that. Cool. Let's see if anyone wants to come have a chat about that.
Yep. See you guys in a bit.
And guys, we are back. I've got Finley with me straight from his round 2 win. Redemption time for the deck after going down last week. Talk us through it.
I was just basically in a position to, against Cat 13, I got my Yuffie down nice and early, so
Busted.
I was just able to, assure to recycle small Yuffies, just keep Yuffies coming back. Cause
I think our final Doom of the Living count was 4. Doom of the Living 4 times.
That is entirely what the deck is looking to do. So it kind of sucks if you don't get out a big Yuffie early, and then you're kind of just stuck just drawing loads of 1-drop Yuffies and they don't do anything.
And of all the matchups to have it, Cat 13 is the one you want to do it for, because all they do is like splurge forwards and you're just like, Doom of the Living, and then you can tell Jack was in such a rough place because he knew you had the Yuffie and you had the Yuffie in hand. It was like, but I've got no choice. All I can do is play these balls.
Yeah, it's the Cat 13 deck where it's like I can just try and make another snowball, but Yuffie is just big enough to kill that snowball every time it comes back. So yeah.
So we had a brief chat about this just now, but is this is no longer like a ninja edge deck? This is now a Yuffie deck. Is that right? Would you say?
Yeah. This is a hard and fast Yuffie ninjas deck. I call it ninjas. Well, I called it ninjas when I was developing it because I had edges in there as well and sort of the full play set of Yagiris. But it's just
you can still call it ninjas. Like you're running a ninja package. There's enough ninja cards in there.
Yeah, and like the Yugiri is nice because it can find me sort of backups as well. Because there are a couple of different ninja backups, and most of them.
And 2 colours as well.
Yeah.
Both the colours you need. So search what you need depending on which you've seen already.
Yeah, there's like a Funeral Stones and a Uke in there, and it's just a little bit more colour consistent. So I got rid of the Edge because I found it was almost like a ramp card that just let me play my backups for 1, but instead it ended up just being a bit of a liability, like a little bit of a hindrance, whereas it was just a good fault.
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily in the best place as well. If I remember correctly, it is a 5k forward, is that right?
And Warrior of Light.
So Warrior of Light. So it's probably not in the best place. So probably the right call, binning it off. I didn't realise you had binned it off. So on stream, I was like, 2 games and still no Edge. What is this? But cool. So obviously, you're happy with more of the Yuffie build.
Yeah,
Do you find it's more consistent then? Because you don't, I guess you can't play the reduced costs backups, but does it? I don't think it needs that. They're all quite low cost anyway.
No, it doesn't need them because you get to play most of your 2 drops in there. I got a Nostalin in there to get Ukes just for like colour fixing as well. Yeah. So yeah, it's more consistent than the pure ninjas build, and it's just taking a few tips from sort of all the windstorm nonsense that's going on at the moment.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. That's the deck really.
Nice one, cool. Well, it was awesome to see. It was awesome to see you get your redemption from last week. And
thank you.
2-0 now. Is that right for tonight?
2-0. So yeah, hopefully.
Maybe we'll be back on later.
I haven't won like an FNM here ever, so yeah.
Guys, you heard it first. Pray for Finley in chat. Pray for Finley. Will we get the dub today?
I need my first store takedown.
I'm now like fully invested in you winning.
Oh,
fully invested.
Excellent.
So let's hopefully see you get you on stream later.
Mega. Thank
All
you.
right, see. Nice one, Finley. All right, guys, we're going to be right back, and we will catch you guys shortly for round 3. Okay, guys, and we are back getting ready for round 3, and we have Jacob on the left and Morgan on the right. Do you know what this means? Redemption time for Morgan.
Let's hope.
Or is it the continuation of the villain arc?
So what? I mean, can he go longer than 3 turns this time? So
Emo Tempest, great to have you in the chat. We are psyched for pre-release. We got it coming up this weekend. We're all buzzing to play the new cards, and then we'll be streaming pre-release next week. So make sure you tune in to see all the goodness then.
what are you looking forward to, Mr. Tempest?
So we've got a thumb war on stream to decide who goes first.
Oh, come on, Morgan. You would need at least this win.
He's gone. He's done.
Right, that's it.
Right, Morgan's dead. He's done. He's done, man. Villain art confirmed. Man can't buy a win.
I'd also like to point out that Jacob is not a regional winner.
Yeah, he actually did ask my permission to use the mat, and I did say he could use it. Maybe it's aspirations. I mean,
Well, it'll never be 2020 again. So let's see what we get here. Just going to straighten it up. The man's a perfectionist, if nothing else. I just went over this. Like, wait, what have they done? They haven't done anything yet.
You just went over for moral support for Morgan. Just need someone to give him a friendly tap on the back. Just be like, "You've got this, man. It's okay."
He doesn't got this, and it's not okay. Okay, so here we go. So Kate Sif straight away.
Show me what you got. What's in your hand?
Or Ketchi, I should probably say.
So
My childhood will not let me correct that.
the move from game. What are you worried about? The
It's
cloud can be pretty annoying
Ami,
actually.
100% the
Yeah.
Ami.
Remove from game, please. Remove from game, please.
But just going over there to remind them that that is a remove from game. There we go. There we are. 2 turns and you've been up there twice. So we go. Straight in for
Just
Marley.
standard game with Morgan, you know.
Yeah. That's not a bad start here, getting Marlene. I'd really like a fire backup down as well, if I was honest.
Oh, nice. He drew into the Barretts. That makes the Marley in a really clean play. So, looks like Jacob has got the Reeve. Obviously, with the Kate Sith already on board. But he's got a Restrictor as well, I think. So maybe you go Restrictor into...
Entirely the right choice, yes.
Nero. You've got a Vice in hand as well. You know that he's got Wedge, Cloud and Noctis in hand. So I think with that in mind, you don't need to try and commit too early on the Nero turn. You can maybe think about doing a Nero Vice next turn in response to whatever Morgan plays this turn.
You would need, in my opinion, I think, cards good enough to or bad enough to discard. And at this stage, it looks like everything's a little bit too good.
He's got absolute gas in the hand. He's got Biblos that's going to be coming with the Vice.
That's 5 cards. I think
Don't do it.
Yeah,
Don't do it, Jacob.
good place to sit. Absolutely. Let him
Played like a true regional winner.
aspirations.
Aspirations.
So there's bigs. Nothing to. Oh, so we're going to go for the.
Wedge.
And have we got enough to play the Barrett as well? No, we don't. Okay, so it looks like we've got some interesting dull freezes coming.
Okay, yeah, definitely opened himself up there. I think the better thing to do maybe would have been to play the Barrett and maybe one of them and on curve.
So there's the Nero. So
Interestingly, he's also got rid of the Laswell. I guess his hand is so good that he doesn't want to. But maybe
wrong Nero.
part of me would have been inclined to keep the Laswell. You've kind of got to play it because if you're not careful, you've got to deal with this wedge because the wedge will kill the Nero before you can play the Vice if you don't do anything about it. So you have to do something to deal with this party attack. I mean, he's got cards in hand, so he's going to have to do something anyway because he's at 6. You've got double Vice, so I think you get rid of a Vice, and I think he's got double X Death, so you get rid of Vice and X Death to play the Vice, get a discard, Dull Freeze the wedge. Actually, it doesn't matter which one you do, but I think it has to be the wedge because if he plays a hasty. The thing is,
well, hitting the Nero is pretty good though. Still,
well, the thing is, Morgan could, in theory, depending on what he's running, could he play Barrett and does he run any of the other ones?
that's correct way around.
Yeah.
Regional winner.
Yeah. He could play Barrett Jesse if he's drawn the Jesse. I don't think he has. I think he's got Cloud. Is that he's drawn? He's got Cloud, Noctis, Barrett, and is that a 6 CP?
I think
fire?
it's Susano.
Yeah.
Old Susan.
Looks like some sort. Yeah, it is. So Barrett's coming down now, and just passing the turn. I think it's irrelevant, but any reason why Marlene is tapped? It wasn't frozen, was it? It was just Morgan not realising that he can untap his backup to the start of his turn. Maybe someone should tell him that's how the game works.
Yeah, I don't know actually. Savage.
So I know that was. I'm on post nights. I've just got no filter.
Okay, really nice draw here. So Jacob has got the Sephiroth in hand. So.
Do you do that on party attack next turn, do you think? Or is that something?
I think you wait, you do it on party attack, because what it means is that you can do it before Biggs gives the protection, and you can leave your Nero up so that it's not a valid target for Wedge.
Just a nice twofer that way, is it?
Yeah, so he's just going to play the Lightning instead. Okay. She's going to have haste. And I guess she can dull sync out the way, but I think he's got a bit ahead of himself here. Let's see what happens in response to this. Morgan probably not going to have any sort of response because he's only got one card in hand, but is he going to hit a nice EX burst? Hits a Cloud. Good hit for Jacob because that can be a problem card, and that is the third copy we've now seen go. I guess you can still pay for the Sephiroth by discarding 2 cards from hand, but I don't really want to be getting rid of the Biblos because you're now going to have to probably discard the Biblos as one of your cards from hand. And I would have just left it up because what you could do is you could play the Sephiroth on this turn.
Oh, this is pretty good, mine though. There's a lot that he's going to hit with this, so it's going to be.
And this is what I mean. This is why I wouldn't have played the Lightning. I'd have left everything upright and just kind of passed turn. Without have left us with too many cards in hand.
So what's he doing with the knock? Is that the 8k to the Weiss?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice hits there. Let's put up the Noctis.
Maybe it would have left us with too many cards in hand, but I think if I was Jacob, I would have been inclined to just pay 2 CP for the Biblos and then pass turn rather than playing the Lightning. And then you wouldn't have had any dull targets for Wedge to hit. And then when they do a party attack, you can then, in response, play the Sephiroth. Then when it comes back round to your turn, you've got Sephiroth that can attack for a discard with a Vice and Biblos on board, so you can dull freeze all these forwards that Morgan has. But instead, the resulting of being a bit too aggressive with the Lightning is you've now just been wiped.
Yeah. Although there is a Vincent though, that's really going to slow him down.
Yeah, and he can play it on curve. It could buy him a turn while he sets up, which would help. How many characters are we at now as well? It looks like we're at 8 on Jacob's side and about 7 on Morgan's side. So Kuja coming down, going to break the Noctis. Kuja coming in dull, and you can still play the Vincent as your but the question is, what do you get rid of? Because he's got X Death and I think you now get rid of the Biblos and you play the Vincent, and it leaves you open to on curve playing XF next turn, which at that point would be getting close to 20 cards, but not quite there yet.
He needs counting.
He needs to play the Vincent now, because if he doesn't, the party trigger is going to start picking apart his backups.
Exactly, that's Nero just out of here completely.
Get rid of the Biblos.
I think we might be getting too greedy and going for the X-Death.
Okay.
But that is good, that means that those big clouds have gone.
I assume that means he's at 20. Otherwise, I think it's a bit premature. I would have been inclined to have waited a turn. I'd have been inclined to play the Vincent and wait a turn. Yeah, I don't think it's at 20 because Morgan hasn't had to remove anything. I think by my calculations, I think he's just shy at 18 cards removed from game as it stands.
Oh, and he has knocked this back for revenge.
Oh, Morgan, is it happening? Is it happening?
Take out that. Make sure you draw your card off of Biggs.
Yeah, and Dole frees the X there, so you can't even be blocking with that and playing any new ones. So the damage hasn't gone through. You've got to take some damage. Oh, nice.
Horrible hit. Charlotte
nice hit
as well.
if you're Morgan. A horrible hit if you're Jacob. So, have we got an answer now? He's got the Zeromus.
So it was Dylan Freeze to the X-Death.
Yeah, because he used to Dylan Freeze from the Noctis effect on the party. So, I think you now have to pass the turn with the Sephiroth, and then, in response to the Wedge Biggs party, kill one of the two of them. Yeah, X-Death is probably going to die, but at this stage,
So we've got Zeromus, Arcanist, and
it's pretty dead right now, the X-Death. Anyway, like I said, I think it was just a bit premature on that X-Death. I'd have been inclined to. He had enough resources and the cards in hand to buy himself a turn. And we get a pass. So.
And that X-Death is going to be out of here as well.
Tifa coming down. So even more shenanigans potentially happening now with Cloud.
Although he's not casting it this turn.
No, he's not. But it's he's teed up to play it next turn should he need to. But to be honest, I think it's gonna be pretty far ahead. Still think you do you do Biggs Wedge here. So he's going to break the X-Death.
Draw the card.
Jacob's he's just let it resolve.
Maybe he's not sure that's how the interaction works with the party.
Maybe, but yeah, I don't think he realises that. If he could have Sephiroth, broke one. I guess the Biggs trigger would still go off, so he can't exactly block to.
With Tifa, they all are gaining power as well. Attack by attack here. So, but there comes Sephiroth.
Yeah,
Perhaps a few turns too late.
Also, Jacob, I need to have words with you because Jacob has discarded 2 cards from hand to play Sephiroth and left all his backups upright.
If you don't have to discard cards, don't.
Yeah. So if you're watching this match, Jacob, you should have kept that Zeromus in hand that you can play next turn. Because that Zeromus would have been such a good play, because what he can do on his next turn is he can attack. He could have attacked with the Sephiroth and broken the Noctis. I guess the Noctis now dies because it takes 8k from the party trigger on Noctis.
We're focusing a lot here on Jacob, but it is nice to see redemption here for Morgan.
Oh yeah,
absolutely dominating with this one.
When you're facing an immovable force such as Morgan, it's easy to make mistakes with such an intimidating villain presence such as Morgan's.
It's got the JoJo intimidating aura sound effect coming off of him constantly. I'd hardly call that a shuffle, even mine, but
have we drawn dead? We've drawn dead.
We have drawn
backup.
dead as.
This is so because if you kept the Zeromus, you could have played the Zeromus on curve and frozen 2 things down to prevent any party attacks next turn. But life goes on.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So
redemption. He's back.
This is the end of the trilogy. This is exactly what we needed.
The trilogy is over. Morgan 2.0 has formed.
Yeah. Well, he was on interview a few weeks ago, so.
Oh, great. Well, you can see how much he's changed in his transformation in his interview now.
So yeah, we'll have a quick word with Morgan, and be back for. Well, we'll see what we're going to do now. There's still 16 minutes on the round, so we'll see how we go. But probably no time for anything to fill the gap here. So.
Alrighty. Well, we'll catch you guys for interview in a second. And we're back. Morgan, slide on over, mate.
Let's see how I am.
Trilogy complete. Redemption is yours. How does it feel?
Honestly, long overdue. I've been running around telling everybody that my main idea was 1 more week.
Yeah.
Just one more week of Avalanche. If there's a hope for a redemption arc, well find it somewhere in there, you know. And we found it.
And you found
a couple of warm-ups. We used a couple of a lot of debating over Noctis.
Sure.
Mostly.
Sure.
But honestly,
end of the day, he put in some serious work for you just then.
Yeah, I think I'm vindicated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Pouring the pressure on there. I think the getting the Avalanches down early and then playing the Barret after. We were thinking, maybe do you play the Barret but it was the right call, just going all in, knowing that they haven't really got a board wipe in Ice Lightning, so it's pretty safe to go wide should you need to, and then getting those party attacks in, getting the break. I think a bit of a premature drop on the X-Death. I think, what was the count at that time?
19.
It wasn't.
Yeah, I had one army in there already.
Yeah.
No other summons in my break, so everything goes in. No summons in his break, everything goes in. 19. And I just looked at him and I was beamed. I was like, okay, you missed it, buddy. I'll take that. He played everything right, though, in my opinion. He lost out. The only thing he missed was his Vincent. When he missed that Vincent, that was it. And sad to say, I know he has Alcid in it.
Yeah.
If he could have seen that Alcid earlier, it would have been over for me.
Yeah.
I would have had my options with Avalanche. So,
no, definitely. I think if he found a way, if he could have stabilised and bought himself another turn or so, then definitely could have tried to flip it on its head, because he was, had more backups. You were playing off the one backup, I think, the whole game, but
yeah, I didn't want
it. Just had just enough gas to get through.
It was literally, I thought to myself, at this point, I have to keep going before Alcid comes out.
Sure,
as soon as it
you
comes
committed,
out. Yeah, exactly. And I'm sad for Jacob. It could have been a slobber knocker, but it wasn't.
Fine.
But I'll take it.
But the weight off your
I'll
shoulders, Morgan 2.0 has formed.
Yes.
Where does Morgan 2.0 go from here? What's next?
It's not putting Avalanche down, I don't think. I think we're going to keep on with Avalanche. But I'm really interested for Season 20 Scions.
Yeah?
So I'm looking at eyes on the future for something new.
Yeah.
But today has humbled me when I thought I was going to be done with Avalanche.
But no, it's the hope that kills you, right? You think you're going to be done with it, and then you play it one more time, and then it's like, oh, you know what? Maybe I could keep playing this card.
And that's just what it's like to represent your favourites.
Yeah. There are some Avalanche operative cards coming next set.
Ooh, the new Tifas. Both of them. I'm looking forward to.
So we'll see what things you can cook up with that. So looking forward to seeing it.
Oh, thanks so much.
Looking forward to the set. It's great to see you back on stream and getting a dub. Give me one of those.
I needed my first win and I got it. We found it. We're here. So thank you so much.
And the chat will root for you as well.
And thanks for everyone who's watching. So honestly, you all take care.
Cheers, mate. We will catch you guys for round 4 in a bit. Alrighty, team, we are back and we have round 4 coming up to you, potentially the final round. And we have Connor, one of our XOs, paired down against Taylor, who is currently X1. So if Connor can get the win, we'll be going to round 5. Otherwise, we've got a different top table happening elsewhere, which has James Kiddy on, hence why we have not put them on just yet.
No one wants to see James drunkenly fumble his way through round 4.
Exactly. Once was enough. Right, talk us through the match, Paul. What can we expect to see this round?
So Connor is playing Water Earth, not the Leo box he had before. I think it's based on Jonathan Ho's list from Norwich.
Okay, yeah.
Not Huddersfield.
Not Huddersfield. Oh yeah. So for those wondering in chat, the reason why Fish isn't commentating this week is not because he's training for London. It's because actually Paul needs to babysit me because I made an absolute blunder last week where I called the regional that happened on the weekend Huddersfield all week.
My favourite is where you said to Sam, you said it's Huddersfield, yeah, and he went exactly. Like you were so forceful that you believed it.
The thing is, if no one corrects you, how are you supposed to know that you're wrong? And so yeah. So that's the real reason why Paul's here. He's babysitting me to make sure I don't say any more stupid things.
And Taylor has wind ice.
And so that's been nice.
Starting with a uke. Do you know what? That's not bad, actually, because
Yeah.
usually we find that they're struggling for the ice CP.
Yeah.
So that's getting that down straight away,
Yeah.
costing the lock and the
Looks like-
Melvian, but neither of those cards are good to you in turn 1 anyway.
And he's got a lock in hand. So, yeah, he's drawn all of his ICB. Connor, you didn't see this, or you may have missed it, but he mulliganed because his opening hand had double arc in. So, nice for him to get out of that.
Well, there's Gordon.
Draw a discard, he's got chaos, yeah. Nice, clean way to get rid of that chaos. Especially as he knows he's not going to hard draw into his arcs just yet, having just sent 2 to the bottom of his deck.
Kolka's an interesting card. I'm not a fan of it personally. I don't like a 2 CP backup that you can only play in the middle of the game.
Yeah, also looking at Connor's hand, I don't know why he played the Kolka. I don't know, because looking at his hand, his 3 cards are Rydia, Une, and Echidna, and he's got no targets for the Echidna, and I'd be surprised if he plays the Une. So I'm surprised that he discarded a card from hand to play the Kolka. It would have made more sense to leave the 1 backup, and then next turn play Rydia on curve, and then you can play an extra 2C backup then. So we'll see what he does, what he plans to do with this, but I would have maybe mapped things out a bit differently. I guess the Gabrant isn't.
There comes Evray for 2 CP rather than 1, but you want to get the early value in.
Yeah, over the course of the game, I think you probably get your value out of it. Taylor struggling here, though. I think he's got his hand is dead cards in hand. So really not
Right,
giving
not to
Connor,
jump straight into the Rosa as well to give him targets.
Giving Connor the chance to set up. I wonder if Connor's. Yeah, see, this is what I was saying. Connor's gone straight into the Rydia now.
but
But now he's got an old.
unless it's a
backup.
3 CP summoner.
Well, he has drawn the Garnet, which is fine, but he drew into that. He didn't actually have that already.
Well, that's the powers that Connor has, you see.
Yeah, maybe I'm just a.
You can't look into the end of the game,
Yeah.
however.
Yeah. See, actually, to be fair, you're right. When you stack your deck like Connor, it doesn't matter. You know what's coming. So
Exactly, yeah.
I take it all back. Yeah,
No, you're right. So
because he's left the 1 CP up now, and he's not going to be casting the Fender. Maybe if he searched Mist Dragon, I guess he probably plays the Garnet as his on curve thing. But
yeah.
was that? But that's
He's playing it for 3 CP on
He's
the.
overpaid for Yuna, whereas he could have. Yeah. I think there was probably a cleaner way of doing that in the grand scheme of things, but.
2 Galaxy Brain for me, I believe.
Absolutely, and to be fair, he's not being punished for it at all because Taylor is struggling hard. He's playing win cards, but apparently he's not playing win backups.
That's Nagnalada. Not the way it usually goes with
No, so he's going to get the Atomos. He's got Rosa, Zidane, Lock, and now Atomos in hand. So no real nice lines of play for Taylor here. I think he just untap and pass. Yeah, struggling hard at the start of this game. So kind of playing the Echidna, getting back the Fenrir, and then warping the Garnet. He's definitely got Leviathan in break zone. I think we know he's got Fenrir in hand, so he can always discard the Fenrir knowing he's going to get back. He's got a triple summon hand, so he's undoubtedly going to get to 2 backups in break zone in time for Garnet coming down and adding them back to his hand. So have we got a wind backup, Taylor? Oh, come on.
We do have unfortunate discards, mine. So we've already 1 Garnet down. We're Une down as well, but I suppose he has drawn into Kusif, so.
Yeah, he's got Pavlov now, finally as a wind thing. So you could play a Tomos, then play Pavlov, and that could untap all of your backups because the Pavlov will untap the Uke, and then the Atomos will untap your Nagmalada and Pavlov. You'd have cast 2 cards then, and then you could play Zidane as your 3rd cast. Can't really attack with Zidane though because Echidna's in the way, and you know he's got Fenrir back in hand. But I guess You could maybe do like a lock for 4 CP, double and freeze, a couple of backups and make him discard.
Take out the monster maybe as well.
Yeah, I think. Okay, so I didn't see he had Sid Paladino, so he's found the Sid Paladino. Okay.
We're back in the game here.
We're definitely back in the game, because
Sid Hayes is
next
going to...
next turn we can do a big Sid Hayes lock turn. I think it's...
Unless he wants to just get that down now so he can play the Atmos for relatively free.
Yeah, but I think if he was going to do that, he should play the Atomos first, because he was going to miss the reactivation trigger on the Atomos. So getting the Everade to untap. So I wonder if he's just going to tap 2 for the Atomos and then just pass. No triggers on the Atomos and then just pass. So he's building up to do it next turn. No, not at all, because next turn he can Sid Hayes, Pavlov, I think he can Sid Hayes, Rosa, Pavlov, Lock or something along that line in a pretty clean way. So kind of... Yeah, getting some summons in his break zone for Garnet.
There's the Arc.
So he's got the Arc, so now he just needs the Chaos, and he's got, I believe, a Q-Sith, so should he need to, he can Q-Sith back the Chaos. He's got Rosa, I think, is his other card, so I wonder if he just plays an on-cover Rosa, or Rydia as a backup. So think about probably remove the Azura, I think.
The other summon, I believe, is Alexander.
Someone to be Chakova.
Oh, right, sure.
So
either are great choices, mind.
I think Azura is definitely the right choice right now. Okay, so Taylor, what have you got for us? I think a Sid Hayes into a 1 CP Rosa that will activate 2 backups would leave you with all your backups untapped. If you tap 1 and discard to play Sid Hayes, you then tap 1 Sid Paladino to play Rosa, it would untap all your backups. Okay, choose the Pavlov instead. I think I would have. So you can tap 1, discard, play Sid Hayes, tap 1 to play Rosa for 1 CP, activate 2 with the Tomos. You can then play your third cast. You can play Zidane. That's going to activate all your backups. Because the problem is, he's played Zidane as his second cast, so he now can't give Zidane haste. Also, is that his second cast as well? So Atomos should trigger. He's just got Pavlov Zidane this turn, so Atomos should trigger. Just get Atomos up a second. It is already up. It says choose up to 2 backups, so it's not technically compulsory because he can choose 0, so I'm not going to rush over. He's realising now, maybe.
There it is.
I still think he's missed a trick here, because he could have done a 3 cast easily, and then Korakoi hasn't got a blocker, and it would have been... So Zidane would have got in for an attack as well as a remove from the top of the deck. So... Because he could have in theory done a Sid Hayes, Rosa, Zidane lock turn easily.
Yeah, so there's...
And he would have removed 2 cards from game. He would have done and frozen 4 characters and got a discard in. So, or even do a break on the Echidna if he really wanted to. So it looks like he's gone to attack phase. He's dulling and freezing 2 backups, and he's on the stack. Connor's cast Q-Sith.
I think this says to me as well that 100% he is eyeing up that Zidane.
Yeah. So Connor now has Chaos Arc in hand, which would cost him 7 CP, which is more than easily doable with Connor's current hand. And Taylor hasn't got any Althea on board, so there'd be no response to the Arc unless he has a Chocobo summon in hand, which he may well do to Connor's knowledge, but I think we know that Taylor hasn't got it. So yeah, and then we have the pass the turn. So yeah, I think
I don't even believe he used the 2 CP free for
He didn't even. Yeah.
Sid Hayes.
I think. So Garnet coming in, getting 2 summons back. So now Connor's got so much CP to play with it. Playing this Chaos seems easy, which I think he's going to do now. So you probably play the Chaos, and you stack Arc to kill probably the Zidane. So then you take the Sid Hayes, and then you can maybe play. You kill Zidane.
Would you not prefer to take the Zidane?
No, because now he can get to 3 casts and dull and freeze 2 things of Taylor's.
Oh, sure. See, that's
so he's got. So I think he's got Kusith as one of his cards, so he could just cast the Kusith to get something back. And that puts him at 3 casts. So yeah, Taylor having just got to. You probably Kusith Une, then go to. Yeah, so here's the Kusith. So Kusith Une, and then you go to attack phase. Sid Hayes is going to dull and freeze 2 characters. So there's 2 wind characters.
absolutely foul move you can do with that. So
yeah, I think Taylor's got 2 cards in hand. So I think when it comes to it, I think Taylor's just going to have to cast Shantoto on his turn.
At this stage, the chaos has already happened. So
yeah. Because Taylor was going to untap 2 backups, so he can use Everett to untap one of them. So he has 3 backups. So he could cast it on curve.
That's the question, if he even remembers that he's got it at this stage. Well, it looks like we're going on 3 CP on something at least.
I think you have to Shantoto here.
I'd agree. There's no other choice.
Yeah. Looking at his hand, he's got Waltrell, Azura, Lock, and I think you can leave, and I can't remember what the last card in his hand is, but I think you can leave maybe the Lock in hand as your Lock, so you tap 3 and discard 2, so you get left with 2 cards in hand. So he's probably just working out which ones he wants to.
I think he's got the scoop on, so
yeah, kind of doing the gentlemanly thing and making him well aware that you can just Shantoto.
Come on, Taylor, it doesn't take that much thought.
Well, it does actually with Ice Wind, because you've got to think about what cards you keep, what cards you get rid of. So it looks like Walter was one of them. Yeah, I agree, because you're going to get to 5 backups and no way of bouncing your backups at the moment. Okay, Chocobo is the other one. I think that's right, because it leaves you Azura Lock in hand, which is quite well equipped for doing a big combo turn.
And we've only seen 1 Lulu.
We've only seen 1 Lulu, correct. So I wonder if Connor maybe Unes and bounces Shantoto back to his hand.
Draw cards first, though.
Yeah.
And that's the 3rd.
I'd be tempted to proactively.
Oh, Famfrit to take out the 2 monsters there.
Very nice. Very nice play.
Not something I expected to see today, but an absolutely welcome addition here.
Yeah, really smart that actually. This is a clever little tech. You know, most people assuming that it does only forwards, but no, it does monsters as well. So wiping that Everett and Atomo is making it really hard for Taylor to do any sort of combo turns. That leaves him with double Une Rosa Shantoto of his own in hand.
So he hasn't got a backup breakable though, I don't think.
So he's cast Azura to grab back Zidane. So that's cast numero uno. He hasn't got a breakable back, it'd be correct. Playing Zidane as second cast again.
There's definitely a 3rd cast he could have gotten there.
I think Connor's drawn his 3rd copy of Une and Sophie, by the looks of it. So, yeah, if you're Connor, you probably do reduce cast, play Une.
What backup are you getting rid of, do you think?
I mean, you bounce Shantoto because it goes back to your hand.
Oh, sure.
Value. So you bounce the Zidane and Shantoto. And I was like, thank you, I'll take that back. And then he's got a Rosa, and he's got a Sophie, so he's probably he could play the Sophie and then discard 2, play Rosa, which is what he's going to do. And that's the advantage of being able to do that, is you get the extra CP, and he gets the draw and does the damage.
And there's another Lulu. I don't think Connor's going to be taking any damage in this game.
Yeah, that is...
How big is the Sophie there? We've got 2.
It's 10k.
10k, yeah.
It's 10k. So he did get that Sophie trigger. So, yeah, double buffing it, and Rosa buffing by 1, buffing by 2k as well.
And so we've got the Vanille there, taking care of his summons. There's no way back into the game here.
Connor in a very strong position right now. Can Taylor do any sort of big combo turn to get himself back in this game? I think we know he's got Lock as one of his cards. He's now seen 2 Lulus go. So he's got a Sid Hayes, so that's a good start. Free casting the Moogle backup, so that's 2. So he could just cast a 4 CP Lock. Feels bad, especially as Rose is going to be able to do some activations, shenanigans. But I think you could do Lock to Dull Freeze 2 things and discard, and then Sid Hayes will get 2 Dull Freezes as well. So I think it's still worth doing. But you got to remember that Rose is going to be able to activate something. And
Does Rosa activate a character? Or let's have a look.
I think it is forward.
Oh, actually, I don't have the image for Rose on here, so the starter deck card's not on there. So.
So now we have a 3rd caster down.
Oh, not one he really wanted to lose.
Okay, so he's emptied his hand and now he's gone for Lock. So he's going to get a discard. He's going to Dull Freeze Une. I guess it makes him have to use the Rosa next turn.
It's a break, I think, on the Une.
Oh, he's doing the break on the Lock. Oh, sure, yeah, it breaks the thing at a forward cost 5 or more. So,
yeah.
And so he went for break and discard, and then he's going to go to attack phase, and he's going to get 2 Dull Freezes with the Sid Hayes. So I guess he's gone for the 2 forwards.
Not too bad.
Probably so that Zidane can attack.
Oh. No way. So if he can use his own arcs against him, maybe he can turn this game around.
Yeah, and then I think Taylor not realising that Rosa just activates itself using her action ability and blocks the Zidane. And then Connor's got Une in hand, so he can now play a new Une, which is going to be really... I guess you bounce the Lock, because it's going to be harder for Taylor to do a 3-cast turn with Lock in hand than it is with Sid Hayes in hand. Or just do a Sarah Mobius to kill it. And now
why pay more?
Yeah, exactly. You've seen, it says a Lock in break. I think we've seen a Sid Hayes removed from game. So there's only 1 copy of each left in deck. He's probably happy that... So now you don't really want to be doing casting Une because you're enabling... He's going to cast Une, but I guess you bounce just to back up, because if you bounce the Sid Hayes, you're enabling another big turn. So he's going to
do it.
I mean, I guess maybe he just wants to push some damage in, because Rosa will... Because he'll win, because Rosa will do damage, activate Sophie, and then Sophie will do the 7th point of damage, right? As long as he hits no EX burst, which even if he does, what's going to stop him? And that's going to be game.
That's it.
Effect of Sophie. GG's. Love that. Love that. Great.
So we'll get Connor on for a word in a second, then see. We may have another round.
Yeah, we will be going to round 5.
Oh, we will have round 5.
Yeah,
no, yeah,
Connor
absolutely.
was our other XO. So Reese and Kiddy were the other 2 XOs going into this round. So they'll be the winner of that game playing Connor in the final. Let's get his thoughts on it. See if he wants to come join.
We'll be right back.
Okay, guys, we are back. Connor, slide over. Fresh off the round 4 win. Pretty dominating performance against a pretty strong meta deck. Talk us through how that went.
Well, he opened terrible, so there wasn't really a good game at the beginning for him.
one ice backup
There's
for
still
one.
some nice plays in there regardless. I think one of particular note and finesse was the Fanfrit getting rid of his monsters. That was chef's kiss.
That was the way he gets back in the game. So
yeah, exactly.
that's
Just
go.
keeping it shut down. I think we've had a bit of a chat with Taylor off camera there about kind of what he would have done differently. But that aside, like, how did you find the matchup? How do you find the deck in general? Because I know this is a deck that you're trying a bit different from what you were playing previously with the Summoners.
I mean, it's the first time I'm playing this deck, so
Yeah.
it's like 15 cards different than what I was playing last week. So we're seeing.
Enjoying the changes though?
All but the mill whip. I don't
Sure,
see the point
okay.
in the mill whip.
Sure.
But other than that, yeah, it's doing well. I can see why I got second.
Yeah, no, it definitely seems strong. I think we've spoken a lot on stream about kind of Chaos Arc, and I think it just seems to be able to be so strong, even in matchups where you don't necessarily think it needs to be that good. Just even just 2 colour things. When you paid 7 CP for it, the Garnet had just come in. You had so much value in hand anyway. That it's just like you had so much CP to play with, and really nice. It's almost good seeing double arc in your opening hand. Because you can mulligan it. It's safely being like, I'm not going to draw a double arc. If I need it, I'll search it on Riddier.
I think that's what I opened. It was either double arc or
Yeah,
arc chaos.
It was double arc. It was double arc, and I saw you mulligan it, and I was like, actually, that's so.
I know my first couple of turns.
You almost want to see that.
Yeah.
You almost want to see that.
You know, your first couple of turns is good. CP.
Yeah, and then you did see the chaos, but I think you then discarded it for maybe the Moogle effect. I think
Moogle
or
did I pick Gordon?
Oh no, Gordon, that was it.
Something
You
like
paid
that,
off the Gordon, and then knowing that you weren't going to see an arc anytime soon unless you searched it, and you could always Q-Sith it back in Moogle, which is what you did in the end.
Yeah, I did in the end.
So yeah, and then be able to Une the Shantoto bounce it back.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So you got your wish, one more round.
Yep.
Do you know what you're playing in the last round?
I think Jenny's trying to work out if she can survive a Stola for game at the moment.
Oh,
They've been spending about 3 minutes trying to work it out.
Dude, yeah, I can see the cogs are whirring, and you can hear the brain power going. Paul's trying to like talk into it there.
It's either Cat 13 or full color control, but I'm pretty sure it's Cat 13.
I think the other top 10 was Kitty and Reese.
I thought Jenny was top.
No, I think it was Kitty and Reese. Oh. Yeah. So Kitty's on the Cat 6, red in round 1. I'm not sure what Reese is running this week, but I guess we'll find out. Anything? Well, what are you worried about seeing? What don't you want to see last round?
I don't know what the deck's bad against, so
But
I guess
from
Mono
experience-
Water.
Yeah, I guess
Mono
Chaos
Water is
Arc.
probably its worst matchup that I know of. We'll see.
Cool, nice.
Don't know if I'm taking this to London or not.
Well, I'll see how last round goes. Maybe you win this one. We'll see.
You know how it goes. I'll change my mind 2 days before the event and then
You'll take it and
then
then
hate
you'll-
myself.
Well, such is the game. Cool. Right, well, thanks for joining us, guys. We're going to go back to be right back, and we will be having a round 5, so stay tuned. We will be back with you shortly. Alrighty, guys, round 5, final round. 2 of the boys, the homegrown talents, Connor and Kitty.
You could not ask for more climactic final battle to Opus 19 than Connor versus James.
You're right. This is it. This is the pinnacle.
This is the
Opus 19.
This is the final boss.
This is the final boss.
How many pints has James had? So both decks we've already seen, but both incredibly strong decks by incredibly strong pilots.
So very comfortable with what they're running as well. If these were Yu-Gi-Oh players, these would be their Sprite decks for sure. So let's see who's got the play. I think it'll be interesting to see how this one goes. Who do you favour in this matchup?
I absolutely don't know. To be honest with you, with the amount of tricks that Connor has, I have to say that. But James can draw the cards; they're sticky, and he can turn off the summons.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the crucial. A well-timed General Leo is going to be the crucial thing for James. So, looks like we've got Sarah into either Gordon or Princess Sarah. I think it's Gordon. Oh, Colker he's gone for. Okay, Colour Fix. And the pass. He's got Riddier in hand as well, so he's got a nice turn for next turn. Interceptor, I'm assuming he's going for Interceptor. And it's always drawn 3 Interceptors for Banana Sid. Gonna go and dig for a lock. Get the engine online ASAP.
not wasting any time there. Absolutely worth it, I think, at this stage, especially knowing that the lock will be cheaper at this stage.
Yeah. So Connor's got some nice options here. You can do the Rydia into Ico, I believe, or Rydia into Kolka, depending on how he wants to colour fix his backups. He may well keep the Kolka. I believe this is the 2CP Kolka that I think has a fight effect. I wonder if he tries to maybe keep it, thinking he can use it on the lock when it comes down, but I think it's a bit slow doing that.
Not one that I favour personally, as I was saying. Combat trick on a 2CP backup, not something I like.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly reasonable to be running the 4CP Kolka in this deck as a searching option.
Here comes the Rydia, so straight down. That's probably going to be the Yuna.
Yeah, Yuna and
Mist Dragon, maybe.
Yeah, you've definitely got to get... Mist Dragon is really good for this matchup. Okay, he's going.
Bam for it.
No, he's taking the piss.
You put it down on the table. That's
yeah. Should I judge him on it? Actually, you officially put it on the table.
Excuse me, mate.
You claim target on this, so.
You can get the Fenrir as decent discard fodder as well, though, because that's going to do absolutely nothing in this matchup.
Yeah, so he's got the Hecaton Care. My personal experience is the Hecaton Care isn't necessarily the strongest card against Cat 6, because often they can do a Sabin S in response, and you only end up killing Sabin, so you're paying 5 CP to kill Sabin, basically.
Well, what I've found as well usually is that he'll just boost straight out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
let's see.
Can he
We
match
know he's
him?
got lock. I think he's got a Setsu as well in hand. So you, again, from personal experience, I always find you want to be playing lock and then doing a cast at the same time. So that's exactly what he's doing. So he's gone lock and he's gone
Straight in. Clean
Shadow.
turn. Really like it.
Real nice hit as well, getting the Sabin that he needs. So Kolka coming down, and then now he's discarding. So, and that is going to get rid of the lock, which, as we predicted, looks like Kiddy has drawn the Edgar and a Sabin. So you probably get lock and Sabin fodder, I imagine. I don't think we've seen anything more useful than that. Okay, Strago. So he likes the Strago strat. I wonder if he's got some water CP in his hand. If he has, he could do a really nice clean turn next turn where he plays lock and plays the Strago, and he'll get some serious value out of that.
Oh, pass.
Oh, and pass. So we've got Une. He's probably wants to try and bait him into playing forwards because he has the fan for it, and so he wants to be playing that next turn.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is what I imagine seeing. But the thing is, if James does do this,
I think that's a really clean meta call at this point with that that fan for it, but
isn't it in response he Q-Sith Shantoto?
yeah.
I don't know why he did that in response. I don't know why he didn't just wait till the end of the turn.
Yeah.
Because now I think James was thinking about playing the Strago, whereas now James is like, why on earth would I play the Strago if you're just going to Shantoto me?
I think Colin's just probably in cocky mode.
Yeah, probably.
Here it comes.
And here it comes.
The Opus 1 card that will never come out of the game.
I know. I remember there was like a brief point when people stopped, like, or like someone was like, "Oh, is it dated?" Nope, never be dated.
Great cost, great effect. Will never come out. For as long as Earth will be good, and Earth's never been bad. So.
Yeah.
Celeste straight in for lock. Yeah, it's just not letting him have it at all.
Yeah, I mean he's got. But the thing is, Connor has got the fanfret in hand, so he can just.
I think he needs to slow down and play some backups. Really,
but this is my problem with the Cat 6 deck, is you have to draw the backups unless you've got lock on board, in which case you still have to draw them. But if you don't draw them, your only choice is to play forwards, because that's all you play, forwards and backups.
Says to me as well that this might just be a pass.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it was a pass.
Oh no, chaos. Chaos coming down to take the
Well,
Celeste.
I thought it was Kitty's turn then, so he must have passed without me seeing. So Chaos into nick your Celeste. Okay, and now the lock comes down. If we got an answer, we've got a thing to play with it. We'll probably maybe play Strago, getting some value. So he's going to flip, and then he's going to flip and draw, and then flip 4, and then pick one and add it. Oh, nice! Another Sabin. Probably just going to get all the Sabins here. I think you grab the Mogs. Oh, I guess you haven't seen Setzer yet, so you want to start playing backups. I thought you had a Setzer, but it must be in hand. So yeah, you definitely play the Setzer because you want to be matching backups. As you said, you don't want to be walking into a Toto or not a Toto, but a Famfrit, sorry, that we know Connor has in hand. Although I don't know if James knows he has it in hand. He knows he has it in deck because he picked it out earlier, but I don't know if he has it
it's
in
not
hand.
been public yet. So, to his credit, he's not doing anything wrong, per se.
Absolutely not. But I still think you play the Setzer, because even if Connor was to do something such as a Mist Dragon, Connor's going to have to pay from hand to do it. Okay, he's going in.
Go. Yeah, nice hit there. This will probably be
we're
the
going all in now. Setzer, flip. So I do think you have to claim your target on the Setzer, because it's and then flip. So he's just having a look now. Has he got a Mog in there? I don't think he does. So Go, I guess, is a reasonable shout. And then Edgar. Nice. He's going all in.
He does know he's got the Hecaton share, though.
But, what a draw as well.
Oh.
He's got a Mog. And now you get double Sabin. Oh, fine, he's gone Go. I was going to say, you can get double Sabin so you can protect. Play the Mog for free. Flip. It was a lock. Nice.
Just absolutely popping off on this one. He's got the backups
Because now,
on.
even if you fan for it, you just sack the Mog and the Strago, and the Strago gets you value back, and the Mog costs you nothing. So
But if you cast the Hecaton share, that's probably going to take. Well, I don't know. He's still got the Sabin for the S. So
I
nothing's
guess if you're Connor, you can Chaos. Yeah. So yeah, Chaos has to die now, because otherwise, if you leave it up, Connor can
take two
Chaos,
things with it.
Salas, take something, and then Fanbit take two other things. So, and then Connor drawing the Mist Dragon just in time to see Edgar already on board.
What a turnaround that last turn was.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the power that this lock has, not being a once per turn trigger. You can just keep going and going and going. And even if you get board wiped, James has got 3 cards in hand and 4 backups on board.
There's a lot of thought to say that this lock might actually come out of the deck in the next format.
Me and Kitty have been talking about this a lot, and I don't think there's no way it does.
Draws so many cards, generates so much advantage. It's cheaper than it says, which means that removal for 5 costs and higher is obviously more of a premium for 4 and less. There's not a lot of downsides to this thing, other than the fact that it's called lock.
Yeah, Connor complaining about drawing the Mist Dragon as his next card. Too little, too late.
He's not out of it yet, though. There's still an Une in there.
For sure.
Lots he can do, but this is a crucial turn where he has to make all the right decisions. There's a lot of. I'm not sure that's his ideal backup line as well, because we don't have room in here for any of the other things we'd like to play. Like even if it was Vanille to take more stuff out of the break zone.
Because even if you hack it, even if it was to connect, it's only going to kill. It's not going to kill everything.
That is how it is done.
And that is why James is the main character.
There, yeah.
And here's the Hecaton card.
It's the Drunken Fist.
Yeah, and then the Sabin is going to do the buff, and then Sabin is going to be the only thing that dies. Celeste is going to die.
Clean.
And then I think he just casts the Echidna, gets back Hecaton Kaya, and he's going to cast it again. Everything's going to die.
It's a big cost.
It's a big cost, but it's cost him everything.
So
James is going to get a Strago trigger on Strago leaving the field. I think you actually have to take the.
It's tough.
Do we know he's got Edgar in hand? I can't remember if he's got Edgar in hand. I can't see what he's got. If he hasn't, he definitely grabs that Sabin, because I think that is his. Part of me was like, you get the General Leo because it's perfect for this matchup, but then it depends. I don't know what Sabins he's seen. He may have.
Leo, right.
Yeah,
That turns
I
off
guess-
most of the deck at this case. It's a
Yeah,
shame we didn't have that
absolutely.
at last turn, but
Okay.
it's going to have to be, well, Une, I suppose, is a good answer to that as well, but I suppose this is exactly the game we were asking for the
But I
finale
think
for Opus
honestly,
19.
Absolutely. And James has got. Sorry, Connor's got no cards in hand, sorry. James has got, what, 5, 6 cards to play with? 4 backups,
Is that
so.
2? How many locks have been removed? Just the 1, I believe.
Well, there's 1 removed and there's 1
And
in
in
damage, and I think I think 1 just got broken, so that's all 3 locks because 1 got RFG'd, 1 got killed by the Hecaton card last turn, and 1 on damage. But actually, if you're James, you're fine with that because we know he's drawn the Opus 4 3CP lock.
So it's all done anyway.
Yeah, so he can play that.
Having a read on Vargas there.
Oh,
This is a tech of James's. He absolutely loves it.
Yeah.
He has turned me round on it entirely.
Yeah, with Umaru, this card is really strong. Even just with Sabin itself killing forwards, it just gives you extra removal in the deck. Outside of Sabin and Umaru, you give you a 3rd chance of removal. Are we going to do anything else? The Kidna can't block. Up 5 cards in hand still, so the temptation would be to.
So we've got the Umaro, we've got the Shadow,
He's
General Leo, another Strago, and I can't see the one on the bottom. Oh, that'd be the lock, yeah.
That is the lock.
It's like, why is it so shiny?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it's the lock.
Yeah, it's the full art, but just the Amano card, which I don't really like that as a full art personally. I just think it looks a bit bare.
Bit empty.
Whereas the Emperor next set, that Legacy full art, that is going to be
Yeah, it's going to look great in the
gorgeous.
binder.
Mate, amazing in the binder.
It's Connor. I believe what we can hear from here is Connor is saying exactly like how bad his potential next draws are.
Talking to you, James, what his bad draws are.
Don't play poker, Connor.
Just
Don't play
play the
poker.
Amaro. Yeah, play the Amaro I think is the right call. You don't want to get carried away and play the General Leo.
Yeah.
Chaos.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw.
We call it.
Connor gave me a big old thumbs up then, Leo killing the name. I was like, yeah, don't worry, we saw the double chaos.
It can happen though. This is the thing when you rely on dark cards. They have extremely high ceiling, but you know when it's the only cards that you have and it's the ones that you need.
Does it right? It does.
Well, that's doing him a favour.
I don't think he knows that is Amaru's last turn, right?
Oh dear. So that's some horrible stacking. Have them all next to each other in the deck.
Saw it here first. He's got Brave.
Melwood being an excellent card.
You can tell it's getting late in the day. Where I was like, I can't be asked to run over and tell him he's got Brave. Just shout across the room, he's got Brave. Big thumbs up.
Well, it was like on the when we got to about Earth on the stream the other day, and you said, "Can we go to bed now?"
Yeah. Frequent reminder. I was like, we spoke about Cat 4. It's bedtime. Way past my bedtime on the stream the other day.
Oh. So they're getting the Une back, but is it too little too late? Quite possibly.
What else does Kitty got?
This is 100% not the kiddie from round 1.
No.
This is confident plays. This is piloting the deck exactly as it should be.
And this is the power we've seen of alcohol in James Kitty's system. He's only had more alcohol since now and then, and look how much it's improved his game.
He needs to, for Euros, probably end up getting so blind drunk that he sleeps on the streets the night before, comes in, no shower, no nothing, and that is guaranteeing him a
It
seat
goes
at
against
Worlds.
everything I stand for to tell a man to drink. But
When it's this man who's got...
but it's this man who needs to be winning Worlds so I can do a stream of my boxes. Interceptor's getting back to hand.
That's what we call good hits there. So hitting the Interceptor is incredibly strong. Let's bring up the Une.
I love how, okay, interesting. James opting to do Emo effect on the Une. I wonder if he's going to...
Oh, look at that.
And for even extra flex, he had a Terror as the next EX burst. Which would have been cool, actually, because he would have killed the Echidna.
What do you take here, do you think? Are we going for the Cyan to...
what has he got on board?
If you get the Cyan, that's
there's a world in
an
which you
easy way to pay for the Interceptor.
Shadow could kill Une. So you could grab a Shadow to replace it. Or you could get a Cyan. Or Gal's a nice combat trick. I think he's probably takes... Yeah, I think you take this... Yeah, okay. He's taking the Shadow, I think, because he's probably going to do what I said. And I think he's going to... So Shadow has the effect that if a forward has left the field this turn into your break zone, you can pay 1 fire, tap it, put Shadow in the break zone, deal a forward 8k, and you know what? He's not even doing it. So I take it all back. He doesn't even...
Probably didn't have the extra fire to pay then. No, he's busy.
He's got about 1 million cards in hand.
I was hoping that he's going to go on the mill plan here.
Right, he's got Edgar, so we're going to see Edgar come down. Grab Sabins. We got Mogs. We're not damage 3 yet, but I still think you grab Sabins and then you S effect on lock, so it can't be blocked, and attack him with the lock.
How does Sabin get his reduction?
It's per category 6 characters.
Oh right, but cannot become 0.
Yeah, it can't become 0.
So that's an easy 1 CP there.
Or you get Sabin Go-Go, right? And then if you get Sabin Go-Go, if he's got a Go-Go in break zone. Okay, no, he's got Mog. I think he's got Go-Go in hand, I think we knew from earlier. So I think we see Sabin come down, then we see Go-Go come down, then we see Edgar target Sabin, Go-Go target lock maybe, and then you use one of the Sabins you got in hand to kill off the Une with one of the Sabin pings.
I think that's just going to do it there, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, no, he's just going to double 8k, which I guess
gets the job done.
You don't need to see the unblockable lock if they have no forwards to block with. And here comes Lock.
And that's a discard as well. Horrible hits.
Yeah, good defending. Again, Mist Dragon going in just the wrong place.
Yeah, well.
Nice. So he's now got the General Leo. He drew double summon. James being like, that's the game's over, right? And Connor refuses to shake his hand just yet.
I refuse to shake his hand as well. After the state of him.
Yeah,
there it is. Yeah.
GG. So much value in that Cat 6 deck.
Yeah, really
so there
showing
we have it. Cat 6 finishing off the Opus on top. A deck that we all believe is going nowhere as well for next up.
If not completely tier 0.
Yeah.
Absolutely a chance of that. But I think we'll leave it there for a minute and we'll bring over the Drunken Master himself.
See if he wants to come down. And then, do some closing comments.
Yeah.
So, catch you guys in a second. Guys, we are back. We've got Kitty, our boy.
Hello.
Fresh off the dub. 5 wins from 5 rounds tonight. You are the champion, not only of our Euro spot, but also of the Opus 19 era, tying it off with the win. How was that?
Clean, absolutely clean.
We said that, yeah.
When you must have seen the one turn where it just absolutely went off. Because there was a moment in there when I censored and he didn't miss Dragon. I was like, right, I can go as ham as I want. And when you flip the Edgar like that, you just know, right, this is the turn to absolutely commit.
And also when you flipped Mog as one of your cards as well, off the left trigger. So
hey, sometimes that's how it goes.
We said as well, like, after he committed to a board wipe, we were saying like Hecatons is not the board wipe that you can use against Cat 6, you just buff out of it, and he had to do it twice. But then when he then ends with no cards in hand, and then you just completely recover. What probably we were saying that we were surprised that he didn't do earlier was he had 6 CP fan for it when you only had lock and whatever forward, and there was probably instances which was like for quite a few turns where he really could have set you back on it. And if he did, I'm not sure that we'd have the same turnout, but it's still.
Well, what really did him in there was he wanted the fanfare, and he said as much on the stream. He wanted the fanfare, but he also wanted the UNA. And at that point, it's weighing up the decision: do you value the instant value of the fanfare versus the potential throughout the game? But you can't see into the future. You don't know how these things are going to go. As soon as I saw the fanfare, I was like, right, that's something I've got to bear in mind.
And we've spoken before about the added value that Strago now brings to the deck, and I think that's the advantage is you're now a lot more comfortable in Cat 6 with the board wipes outside of Shantoto with the likes of Strago in, because the value you get is just obscene. So in a deck that already had a lot of value, with a really nice EX burst trigger as well. It's just, we spoke a bit about it in round 1, but I think it meant that if you ever did fan for it, straight away you're like, fine, I'll get rid of my Morg and my Strago. Like, cool.
Well, this is one of the things that we're going to have to weigh up when we're going into Opus 20, is that because we've now got the new lock, which is a flip and add, and we've got the Strago, which is a flip and add, is 5 CP lock still needed?
Well, this is the thing with the new one. We were saying, again in round 1 with Mason, that in the round you were in, XIII was dead completely in the matchup. However, now it's quite a lot worse against the deck going forward with the amount of 2s and 3s that it's gaining. So you have to weigh that up a lot. I think with the amount of card draw we saw today, I think it would be remiss to get rid of the 5 CP lock this early.
Because you still generate, although yes, I appreciate with the ones you're getting draws, you don't build a board like that and end with 4 cards in hand.
No, you don't. And this is the $1 million question we've got to ask ourselves, and the deck's going to have to go through a rigorous amount of testing before we go to Euros, because these are the things we're trying to find out. Euros is also a 2-deck format, and what I really like about Cat 6 is that in a 2-deck format there is no clash at all with any other element. So it is very much looking one of the safe bets that we can consider.
Going forward, it's probably unlikely that Fire deck's going to go.
A moment of silence for Tenzin, our fallen brother.
Oh, well.
But that's it. We adapt and we move on, and
lots of weapons as well, like with the new Fiend and also the new Demon.
The Demon,
well,
the Fiend.
Which we've spoken about.
This is another question I'm wondering. I'm wondering what you guys think. Does the Fiend replace General Leo? Because General Leo secured that game win there. Because if you saw Commissar, he had the Leviathan, he had another.
I don't think you play both. The answer is I don't think you play both. And I think if you're playing obviously just the mainly Ice Fire version, obviously General Leo is there. But if you're putting the Fiend in the Water version, I don't think you play the General Leo, because you lose the caveat on General Leo. And I think at damage 3, the Fiend also not being able to be targeted, I think will be an underrated, sticky aspect of that forward.
So to be devil's advocate on this one as well, I don't think. I think because the friend costing 5 is a big price for.
It costs 4.
It costs 4, does it?
It's 4 CP.
I thought it cost 5.
No,
forget it then. Yeah, probably get rid of Leo. Who cares?
Yeah, because they're literally equivocal.
And then the caveat with the Fiend the friend is obviously it's water, and unfortunately the only reasonably playable water Cat 6 backup is Strago,
which has no target.
Which is a bit of a name clash with what we're dealing with. So that's just another one of the questions.
Is it really though? If we're going to go heavy into the new lock, because it's going to have essentially the same sort of effect. Obviously, it's not both ways, but it is something like that. It's all up in the air. All needs big testing.
I was having a quick chat with Sam earlier, and one thing he did point out is that if you do go away from the lock, it does mean that you open yourselves up to summons, and you can play the new Terror, which means you open yourself back up to Mateus, to Ami, to all these other summons that are potentially worth considering.
I think it just puts it in quite a nice slot that it's not really the one-dimensional deck that we all thought it was when it first came on the scene. You thought, you had to play all these Cat 6 stuff. And I definitely think with all the new toys it's getting, there are different ways. And we've kind of seen as the Opus has gone on that there are already different ways to run it, with some running the water cards and some not. So yeah, guys, watch this space for the coming weeks. New set coming next week. We'll be playing all the new cards. Stay tuned here to see all our ideas, and we'll go from there. But I think we should probably be thinking about wrapping this up.
I think it's bedtime.
Have a pint on us.
Thanks everyone that's tuned in. That's Opus 19, and we'll see you next week for pre-release.
Thanks very much, guys.
Have a good night.